Ano, Adulsen. So, hello sa inyo. So, ito, discussion tayo ulit. Patapit na tayo ng pagkatapos nating discussion. Basically, this is our second to the last video for the law on corporations. So, for our long exam this Friday, ang coverage lang is from title 6 to the end of our discussion. Nasa akala ko ba may cooperatives tayo? Yes, I will make a separate short lecture video for cooperatives, yung relevant topics lang. Pero hindi yung kasama sa ating long quiz. Pero isasama ko some questions about cooperative sa ating final exam next week, Friday. So with that, let us continue with the discussion. Title 14, Dissolution. So 'di ba, napag-usapan natin yung dissolution sa ano pa lang, yung concept niya pa lang napag-usapan na natin sa partnership. So at least now, meron na tayong idea kung ano ba tong dissolution. Basically, ang dissolution, ito na yung nagte-terminate yung existence ng isang entity. Yung napag-usapan natin sa partnership, ngayon pag-uusapan natin naman, pag-uusapan natin yung para sa isang corporation. So let's go with section 123. Now sa sa previous corporation code natin, sa old code, section 117 nata, yung 117 yung start ng dissolution. Ngayon naging 130 niya kasi 'di ba nadagdagan yung one person corporation and several changes, 'di ba? So ito section 130 na yung beginning ng dissolution. So ano to? Methods of dissolution. A corporation daw formed or organized under the provisions of this code may be dissolved in two ways, voluntarily or involuntarily. So ano bang meaning ng dissolution? Pero easy na lang to sa atin kasi may idea na tayo. So sabi dito, the term dissolution as applied to a corporation signifies the extinguishment of its franchise to be a corporation and it results to the termination of its corporate existence. So pag na, 'di ba? The thing that gives the corporation its separate juridical personality that is separate from its owner is its corporate existence. But once dissolution is applied, then the corporate existence is already terminated, kaput na siya, whiz na siya. So this is the condition of law and fact na which ends the capacity of the body corporate to act as necessity and necessitates a liquidation. Remember, dissolution is different from liquidation. Kasi 'di ba ang dissolution, that is the termination of the existence of the entity. Ang liquidation, that is the winding up of the affairs, the settlement ng affairs ng entity na yon. Same of legal relation existing, etc. etc. So same. So what is the power to dissolve a corporation? Saan yan ang gagaling? Now, in law, there is an accepted theory na the existence of the corporation is granted by the law itself. And since the law grants that existence, the law can take it away. Oo, kasi may tatawag tayong the power to create comes with the power to destroy. So a corporation may come to an end and its life extinguished only by the act or with the approval of the sovereign power by which it was established. So, being a creation of the state, a corporation can only be dissolved with the consent of the state. So, in this case, sa mga corporations natin with special charter, so kung ano yung nakalagay sa charter nila or through legislative act that created those charter, pwede silang ma-dissolve. O pagdating naman dito sa corporations that was created by a general corporation code in our country, that's the revised corporation code. So nakalagay expressly provided ng ating batas na ang isang corporation pwede ma-dissolve. The power to create comes with it the power to destroy, or in this case, dissolve. Now there are two types of dissolution pagdating dito in terms of theory, the de jure and the de facto. So basically, a de jure dissolution is a dissolution in law and a judge and determined by judicial sentence. Ibig sabihin galing sa korte or brought about by an act of or with the consent of the sovereign powers sa corporation code or sa special charter sa legislative, for which it results from the or which another way ma-expire yung charter ng corporate life. Sabo nila, lagyan lang nila ng expiration of 25 years, di ba? Parang ganun. Sa de facto naman, as we know, di ba, pagdating sa de facto, in law, hindi sa valid, pero in substance valid siya, 'di ba? Ganun yung idea ng de facto. Similar dito. This is a dissolution which takes place in substance. Kasi pagdating sa de jure, form and substance. Pagdating sa de facto, 'di ba? Substance lang 'yan. And in fact, where the in substance and in fact, when the corporation by reason of insolvency, ibig sabihin, mas mataas na yung liabilities niya over sa kanyang assets, cessation of business, or otherwise suspends all its operations, then maybe goes into liquidation, still retaining its primary franchise to the corporation. O yun. De jure and de facto. Simple ideas kasi may idea na tayo ang de jure, ano yung de facto. Now, as provided, there are two legal steps in the corporate dissolution. So, may step 1, may step 2. Yung unang step is the termination of the corporate existence, at least as far as the right to go on doing ordinary business is concerned. Yeah? Una, mataterminate yung corporate existence niya. Pag na-terminate na ba yung corporate existence, yun na lang ba yun? Wala nang follow-up? Hindi, may follow-up pa yan. Yung winding up of affairs, that is the second step. So similar sa pinag-usapan natin sa partnership. So kung saan dito sa winding up of its affairs, 'di ba? Liquidation na yan. Nandiyan na yung payment of debts, distribution of assets sa shareholders or members, and other interested persons. Now, pag na-settled na yung affairs, na-wind up na yung business, then, the corporation is terminated for all purposes. So, unang step, termination ng corporate existence. Pero dyan, hindi pa tapos, hindi pa totally dissolve yung corporation. Ang na-terminate lang basically yung doing the ordinary business. Kasi yung second step, kailangan mo pang mag-liquidate to wind up the affairs. Pag na-wind up mo na yung affairs, na-settle mo na lahat ng kailangan i-settle, then, boom, for all purposes, terminated na si corporation. So, ito, etc. Now, as provided kay Section 130, there are two methods, di ba? There are two methods on how to dissolve a corporation. Di ba? Voluntary and involuntary. So, corporation, meron siyang perpetual existence, di ba? Provided na sa revised corporation code natin na may perpetual existence na ang isang corporation. Now, under Section 130, itong pinag-usapan rin ngayon, a private corporation organized under the law, ito, gaya na sabi natin, may be dissolved either voluntarily or involuntarily. So, ito yung two methods. So, voluntarily, meron dyan mga ways. It may be affected, ito, by the vote ng board and ng stockholders kung saan walang creditors na affected. Meaning, no creditors are prejudiced. The rights of creditors are not prejudiced. Ibig sabihin, hindi sila nalalamangan, hindi sila naloko, parang ganun. Walang negative effect sa mga creditors yung pag-dissolve ng corporation. Kasi usually nangyayari yan kapag inassure ng corporation na itong mga creditors na to, nagkaroon talaga sila ng usapan, ng negotiation, na okay, i-dissolve namin ang corporation namin, pero don't worry creditors kasi may pambayad kami sa inyo. Meron naman kaming enough assets to pay you. So yan, basta walang rights ng creditors ang ma-prejudice. Sa letter B naman, pag merong pag yung rights ng creditors affected is prejudice, kailangan ng judgment coming from the Securities and Exchange Commission after hearing of petition. Pag may creditors affected, na prejudice yung nila. Prejudice yung ginagamit namin. So, ma-prejudice yung rights ng creditors. So, kailangan na ng intervention ni Securities and Exchange Commission dyan. Yung pangalawa is yung amendments ng Articles of Incorporation to shorten the corporate term. So, sabi nila, so gusto namin, i-terminate na yung corporation. So, another way of doing that is amend the AOI to shorten the corporate term. Tapos pagdating dyan, di ba, kailangan rin ng approval ng Securities and Exchange Commission. And lastly, in a case of a corporation sold by submitting to the SEC a verified declaration of dissolution for approval. Ito naman pagdating sa involuntary method. Una, there's an expiration of term provided for in the original articles of corporation. So pagpaparating na yung deadline kung paparating na yung fixed term, di ba? So, dissolve ng corporation. By legislative enactment. Yeah? Yung mga corporation na may special charter. So, madidissolve lang sila pag wala sa articles of incorporation nila or sa charter nila para ma-dissolve kung kailan, then pwede yan tanggalin. Pwede silang i-dissolve ng Kongreso. Lagay nila, this, like example, tanggalin nila si PAGCOR. PAGCOR man is, di ba, may special charter siya kasi it was created through a legislative enactment. So, kung ayaw na ng Congress kay PAGCOR, terminate na nila through legislative enactment rin. By failure to formally organize and commence the transactions of its business within 5 years. Dati, within 2 years to, pero tinasa nila within 5 years. From the date of incorporation. So, pag wala kang ginawa, hinayaan mo lang, matenga yung articles of incorporation mo, wala kang initiate, hindi ka nag-start ng business mo. Within 5 years, matik, dissolve ka. Kasi batas nang nagsabi na pag hindi ka nag-commence within 5 years, dissolve ka. And another by order of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So, sir, anong difference nito, sir? Diba, meron tayong mga yung na-discuss natin na kapag nagkaroon ng problema, pwedeng si SEC na mismo ang maghain ng dissolution sa corporation. Diba, pag nagkaroon ng mga problema, issues na discuss natin yan previously. So ito, Section 134 tayo. So Section 134, it talks about the voluntary dissolution. Ito, pag-uusapan natin tong si letter A, 1A, talks about the voluntary dissolution where no creditors affected. No? So if a dissolution of a corporation does not prejudice the rights of any creditor having a claim against it, ibig sabihin goods na goods Walang negative effects sa creditor kahit na ma-dissolve yung corporation. Gaya na sabi natin, baka nagkaroon sila ng negotiation beforehand si corporation at ng kanyang mga creditors na, so i-dissolve na namin ang corporation but don't worry. Meron naman kaming enough asset to pay you. So, hindi naman maprejudice yung rights nyo. So, goods pa rin tayo, di ba? May pambayad naman kami. So, wala nang problema yun. So, yun, no affected. Kasi mababayaran sila. Or, baka si corporation at the first place walang creditors. Baka wala siyang liabilities. Puro assets lang. Pwede rin yun. The dissolution may be effected by majority vote of the board of directors or trustees and a resolution adopted by the affirmative vote of the stockholders owning. Okay, itong mahalaga. At least majority. So pagdating dito, where no creditors affected, majority lang. Majority ng board, majority ng stockholders or members. Yan lang. Dati kasi 2/3 rin nata yan if I remember correctly. So ito at least ngayon majority na lang. Ito, mga notice na lang to, at least 20 days prior to the meeting. Notice shall be given to each stockholder, etc. etc. Same lang ito, notice. Ito naman publication. Tandaan nyo, mahalaga ang publication. Pag yan di na follow, matik GG ang procedural requirement yan di na follow, matik GG kayo. Baka tawag ito, hindi valid yung naging action nyo. A verified request for dissolution shall be filed with the commission, kung saan sa request na yun itong nilalaman. Reason for the dissolution, bakit kayo nag-dissolve? Baka board na kami, ayaw na namin continue di ba? The form, manner, and time when the notices were given, ito, kung kailan to ginawa. Mga pangalan ng stockholders, directors, or members and trustees na nag-approve sa dissolution, so yung majority, the date, place, and time of meeting, which was the vote made, and the details of the publication. So the corporation shall submit the following to the commission. Una, copy of the resolution authorizing the dissolution, certified by a majority of the board of directors or trustees and countersigned by the secretary. Proof of publication. So yan, napakahalaga talaga ng publication na yan. Di ba? Last time pa natin pinag-usapan. And a favorable recommendation from the appropriate regulatory agency kapag kailangan. Ito naman, within 15 days from the receipt of the verified request for dissolution and in the absence of any withdrawal, so ibig sabihin walang backout, tuloy nila ang dissolution. Within the said period, the commission shall approve the request and issue the certificate of dissolution. Tandaan, the dissolution shall only take place or shall only take effect, only upon the issuance of the commission or by the commission of a certificate of dissolution. So, dyan lang, tsaka lang nagkakaroon ng effect yung dissolution kapag nag-issue na ng Certificate of Dissolution si Commission. Same sa paano kinecreate yung corporation. Nagkakaroon ng corporate existence kapag nag-issue na si Commission ng Certificate of Incorporation. Sa dissolution, kapag may Certificate of Dissolution. Di ba? Gaya na sabi natin. The power to create, thus the law provides, gives it the power to, comes with the power to destroy, or in this case, to dissolve. So, kailangan ng, basically, consent ng state para ma-dissolve ka. So, no application for dissolution ng mga itong entities na to without unless accompanied by a favorable recommendation of the appropriate government agencies. Usually, mga ano yan. Central Bank, insurance commission. Salient points, ito. Section 134 has provided more detailed guideline pagdating sa in case a corporation applies for voluntary dissolution kung saan walang creditors affected. Ito, significant changes from naging majority na. Dati 2/3 yung Dati 2/3 to. Ngayon majority na lang. And yung 20 days, saan yun? And yung 20 days prior meeting, etc. etc. So ito yung mga laman ng verified request and yung corporation, yung sabihin na corporation, provided naman dito. So yan, si Article 134, straightforward. So let's go naman kay Section 135, kung saan ito yung klase ng voluntary dissolution where creditors is affected. So anong procedures and contents of the petition? Kasi diba si Section 134, no creditors affected. Section 135, creditors are affected. So ano mangyayari dito? So where the dissolution of a corporation may prejudice the rights of any creditor, a verified petition for dissolution shall be filed with the commission. Itong petition na to shall be signed by a majority of the corporation boards of director or trustees that is verified by the president or secretary or isa sa mga board of or trustees and shall set forth all claims and demands against it, and that its dissolution shall set forth all claims and demands against it. Ibig sabihin yung mga demands, yung rights ng creditors over the corporation, and that its dissolution was resolved upon by the affirmative vote of the stockholders representing at least 2/3. So dito majority of the board, 2/3 of the stockholders or members. Okay? 2/3, 'di ba sa where no creditors are affected, no creditors are affected, majority lang. Pagdating sa creditors are affected, 2/3 na. Now the petition shall likewise contain the following or state the following: yung rason para sa dissolution, form, manner, and time ng notices, date, place, and time of the meeting. The corporation shall submit to the commission the following: copy ng resolution authorizing the dissolution certified by the majority ng board and countersigned by the secretary, and a list of all its creditors. So ipapakita doon. Then ilalagay rin doon ano yung claims and demand nila, magkano yung interest nila sa corporation. Yeah. Now if the petition is sufficient in form and substance, the commission shall, by an order reciting the purpose of the petition, magfi-fix ng deadline si commission for filing the objections to the petition, which date shall not be less than 30 days, nor more than 60 days after the entry of the order. So ito, bibigyan na ng chance yung mga creditors affected para mag-object sa dissolution ng corporation. Kasi for them, nape-prejudice, may negative sa right, nape-prejudice yung rights nila. Negative for them, negative yung effect for them. So ayaw nilang madehado, reklamo sila sa file nila yung reklamo nila or objection nila sa commission na ayaw namin niya, mape-prejudice ang rights namin Baka hindi makabayad considering na ganito katagal yung usapan namin. So yun. Now before such date, a copy of the order shall be published. Ito, publication requirements, mahalaga to. Mahalaga tong procedural requirement na to. Their newspaper, etc. etc. Now, upon 5 days notice given after the date on which the right to file objections as fixed in the order has expired, the commission shall proceed to hear the petition and try any issue raised in the objections filed. Gaya na sabi natin, Diyan na yung forum kung saan mag-usap-usap nila sila. Kung ano yung reason for the objections ng creditor. Bakit siya nagrereklamo? Gaano siya affected? Di ba? And if no such objection is sufficient, ibig sabihin, ano man tong creditor na to, sabi ni commission. Kaya naman palang panindigan ni corporation yung liabilities niya sa'yo. Bakit ganyan ka? Bakit ka magrereklamo? Di ba? Hindi sufficient yung objection nila. And the material allegations of the petition are true, it shall render. Ibig sabihin, nakalagay dito. Makakabayad naman pala si corporation sa lahat ng liabilities niya. Bakit kayo nagrereklamo? Parang ganun. It shall render judgment dissolving the corporation and directing such disposition of its assets as justice requires, and may appoint a receiver to collect such assets and pay the debts of the corporation. So the dissolution shall take effect only upon the issuance by the commission of a certificate of dissolution. So same as this. So yan, provides, So ganyan. Dalawa tayo meron. Section 134, kapag walang creditors affected, majority. Simpleng-simple. Pagdating kay Section 135, may creditors affected, majority 2/3 ang kailangan. Ibig sabihin, basically, pagdating dito sa negotiations pa lang, in-inform na ng corporation itong mga creditors na to, tapos itong mga creditors na to, hindi payag, may objection. So yan, kaya mag-start yan si Section 135. Hindi sila nag-agree sa negotiation nila, so gusto nila idaan sa SEC. Now, let's go to Section 136. Now, Section 136 provides for the dissolution by shortening the corporate term. So, ibig sabihin, lalagyan nila ng amendments sa Articles of Incorporation para paikliin yung corporate term ng corporation kung kailan siya ma-dissolve. Now, a voluntary dissolution may be effected by amending the Articles of Incorporation para to shorten the corporate term pursuant to the provisions of this code. So, di ba nakalagay yan sa isa yan sa mga amendments ng possible amendments ng Articles of Incorporation. Di ba? Na-discuss na natin yan. Now, a copy of the amended Articles of Incorporation shall be submitted sa Commission in accordance with this code. Now, upon the expiration of the shortened term, ibig sabihin ito yung bago nilang nilagay, to amend, as stated in the approved amended Articles of Incorporation, the corporation shall be deemed dissolved without any further proceedings, subject to the provisions of this code on liquidation. Now, in the case of expiration of corporate term, dissolution shall automatically take effect on the day following the last day of the corporate term stated in the Articles of Incorporation without the need for the issuance by the Commission of a certificate of dissolution. Now, in this case kasi, anong nangyayari sa dissolution by shortening the corporate term? Basically, it is voluntary, di ba? Voluntary yan sa una. I-amend nila yung corporation, gusto nilang paikliin yung corporate term. Okay, goods. Pero take note, may intervention pa rin ng state dyan. Kasi di ba, ang amendments natin sa Articles of Incorporation, kailangan ng approval galing sa Securities and Exchange Commission before it could take effect. Di ba? So, yung shorten the corporate term, kailangan yan ng approval galing sa SEC. Kaya dito pagdating sa sabi dito, di ba? Hindi na kailangan mag-issue pa ni SEC ng Certificate of Incorporation. Kasi by the mere fact that the Commission has granted the amendment to shorten the corporate term, para na rin yang ng Certificate of Dissolution Commission. Para na rin nag-agree yan at the same time. Kasi man yung purpose ng Certificate of Dissolution to show in a formal document na nag-agree yung commission sa dissolution ng corporation. So in this case kasi, gaya na sabi natin, by amending the Articles of Incorporation to shorten the corporate term, siyempre kailangan ng approval ni commission. So ibig sabihin in this case, no need na ng Certificate of Commission, ng Certificate of Dissolution, kasi by the mere fact na yung commission nag-agree sa amendment to shorten the corporate term, it shows na approved din sa kanya. Ito naman, dito, the dissolution shall automatically take effect the day following the last day of the corporate term. Ibig sabihin, pag yung last day ng corporate term is February 14, then, yung corporation, pagdating ng February 15, dissolve na. Dissolution shall automatically take effect the day following. So, February 14 yung last day ng corporate term. Pagka next day, February 14, dissolve na si corporation. Salient points without the need of issuance. Ngayon, sabi natin. Ngayon, ito, discuss. How affected? Paano nag-effect? Paano binibigyan ng effect? Now, a corporation is dissolved upon the expiration of the period as fixed in the original Articles of Incorporation. Yeah? Unless a period extended by the amendment. Now, a voluntary dissolution, as you have said, is effected if the Articles of Incorporation is amended to shorten the corporate term. Upon approval by the SEC of the amendment of the AOI or the expiration of the shortened term, as the case may be, the corporation shall be deemed dissolved without any further proceedings except for its liquidation, the settlement of its affairs, di ba? Basically dito, di ba? Pagdating kasi dito, di ba? From first, voluntary siya. Pero once dumating yung shortened term, para na rin siyang involuntary. So from voluntary, naging involuntary. Pero voluntary siya kasi yan talaga yung starting point eh. Diyan magte-take effect. From the amendments sa Articles of Incorporation to shorten the corporate term. Ito, this is a SEC opinion lang. Pero, para walang problema, hindi naman to stated sa batas eh. Kasi di ba wala naman dito nakalagay. Unlike sa 134 and 135, di ba, kailangan ng notice and publication. Di ba? Kailangan ng ganun. Pero dito makita nyo sa 136, hindi kailangan. Pero, based on Securities and Exchange opinion, Securities and Exchange Commission opinion, publication of notice of dissolution, kahit hindi required sa section 136, sabi dito, follow nyo pa rin. Mag-notice pa rin kayo for dissolution through a publication. Para sa kung sino man gusto mag-dissolve, follow nyo na lang to para wala na kayong problema sa SEC. Mag-publication na lang kayo. I-notice nyo. Kahit na hindi nakalagay sa batas. Pero SEC opinion yun eh. So, dissolution by expiration of term. How affected? Now, a corporation is dissolved upon the expiration of the period as fixed sa kanyang original AOI. Unless that period is extended, an extension of corporate existence or the incorporation. Now, upon dissolution of a corporation by the expiration of its corporate term, provided for in the original or amended AOI, it ceases to exist de facto or de jure except only for purposes connected with its winding up or liquidation. Yeah? Juridical personality, wala na siyang juridical personality kasi wala na siyang corporate existence. But the stockholder may reincorporate. To, nandito sa previous slide. Now, a corporation automatically terminates upon the expiration of the stated period. Hindi na kailangan ng tulong ng approval galing sa SEC or galing sa korte. Kasi involuntary na yun. Automatic yan, HTFM. Pag dumating yung term, boom. Ito naman, effect of insolvency or bankruptcy on corporate. Insolvency, as we know, is the inability to pay debts as they become due. Basically, kulang yung assets mo to pay the liabilities. Parang ganun yun. When used in the bankruptcy sense, it means the condition of an individual organization where the total liabilities exceed the total assets available for their settlement. So, liability. However, the inability to exercise its corporate powers by reason of insolvency might constitute such non-user to warrant a decree of dissolution. Kasi it shows na that the corporation having no enough assets, baka hindi na siya maka-operate properly. So, there's no choice but rather to dissolve. Di ba? Ito naman, effect of want of officers on corporate existence. Basically, ang nakalagay dito, although necessary sa operations ng corporation na magkaroon ng officers, the non-election of such will not affect the validity of the corporation. So kahit na nagkakaproblema sila sa election of officers, hindi yan proper reason para mag-dissolve yung corporation. Yan lang yan meaning yan. Ito naman, let's go to section 137. Now take note, this is a new provision. In-insert to. In-insert tong sa section 137. Now section 137 basically talks about the withdrawal of request and petition for dissolution. So basically, pinaklaro lang. In-institutionalize lang ng Section 137 yung dati ng way or dati ng procedure when it comes to the withdrawal. Kasi 'di ba sa previous sections, 'di ba, na-mention naman daw yung withdrawal without withdrawal. Pero para mas maging klaro, in-institutionalize na nila. Sinali na nila mismo sa batas, which is nandito kay Section 137. Now, Section 137, as we have said, provides for the withdrawal of request and petition for dissolution. Ibig sabihin, nag-back out. Hindi na nila itutuloy yung pag-dissolve ng corporation. Now, sabi dito, a withdrawal of the request for dissolution shall be made in writing, duly verified by the incorporator, director, trustee, shareholder, or member, and signed by the same numbers of incorporators, directors, trustees, shareholders, or members necessary to request for the dissolution. So, kung sino may nag-agree, nagpayag na mag-dissolve at the first place, dapat sila rin yung magbaback out, magwi-withdraw ng kanilang request. The withdrawal shall be submitted no later than 15 days from receipt by the commission, di ba? Nakalagay rin sa previous sections natin na 15 days from the submission, magdi-decide na yung corporation, yung commission, di ba? In this case, 15 days from the submission, doon ka lang pwede mag-withdraw. Upon receipt of the withdrawal for request for dissolution, ang gagawin ni Commission, it will withhold all action on the request for dissolution and shall, after investigation, will make a pronouncement that the request for dissolution is deemed withdrawn, direct a joint meeting of the board and the stockholders or members for the purpose of ascertaining whether to proceed with the dissolution. Tatanungin sila, sure ba kayo? Sure ba kayo sa decision nyo? Dissolve o hindi? Or issue such order as it may deem appropriate. Now, a withdrawal of the petition for dissolution shall be in the form of a motion, etc., substance request, etc., etc. Let's go to Section 138. Now, itong Section 138 talks about involuntary dissolution. Now, sa involuntary dissolution, a corporation may be dissolved by the Commission motu proprio. Ang meaning ng motu proprio, out of its own accord. Ibig sabihin, si Commission na mismo ang nag-decide without anyone telling him or petitioning sa kanya. Out of their own accord, out of their own will, si Commission na yun. Yun yung meaning ng motu proprio. Or upon filing, ito naman, or upon filing o pa-verified. Ibig sabihin nito, may nag-file ng complaint. Si motu proprio, si Commission na mismo, on its own, ang pwedeng mag-dissolve ng corporation. Dito naman, upon filing, ibig sabihin may nagreklamo. Pa-verified complaint by any interested party. Now, the following may be grounds for dissolution of the corporation. The non-use of its corporate charter as provided under Section 21, ibig sabihin yung 5 years in operation. Diba? Continuous in operation of a corporation as provided in Section 21, okay, same. Upon receipt of a lawful court order dissolving the corporation, ibig sabihin, judge na mismo na gano'n yan. And upon finding by final judgment that the corporation procured its incorporation through fraud. So kapag daw na-incorporate yung corporation, then that is a ground for dissolution. And letter E, upon finding by final judgment that the corporation, ito final judgment basically pertains to a judicial decree. Yan yung meaning ng final judgment. Kung saan sa final judgment na yan, it was determined, it was found out that first, the corporation was created for the purpose of committing, concealing, or aiding the commission of securities violation, smuggling, tax evasion, money laundering, or graft and corrupt practices. Or, committed or aided in the commission of securities violation, smuggling, tax evasion, money laundering, or graft and corrupt practices, and alam ng stockholders. And, repeatedly and knowingly tolerated the commission of graft and corrupt practices or fraudulent or illegal acts by its director, trustees, officer, employees. So, ito, may ginawa. Ito yung commission, alam ng stockholder. Ito, paulit-ulit ginawa. Ngayon. So, kailangan nag-exist yung tatlo kasi upon final judgment eh. So, as you can see, these are the reasons under sa involuntary dissolution provides for that. And, so, you can see, ano yung sasabihin ko? Ito. If the corporation is ordered dissolved by the final judgment pursuant to the ground set in subparagraph E, ito, then, its asset, after payments of its liabilities, shall upon petition of the commission with the appropriate court be forfeited in favor of the national government. Now, di ba, if you can still remember sa inyong obligations and contracts, kapag nagkaroon ng problema, ibig sabihin, the parties are not in bad faith, di ba? Example, commission of the crime. Yung mga assets in relation to that, di ba, pino-forfeit for the in favor of the government, no? If you can still remember obligation and contracts, ganun din yung nangyari dito. Since the assets here, kung makita nyo, for the purpose of violating the law, forfeit yan in favor of the government. Now, such forfeiture shall be without prejudice to the rights of innocent stockholders and employees for services rendered. So, may makukuha yan sila if may interest sila over that. And to the application of other penalty or sanctions under this code or other laws. The Commission shall give reasonable notice to and coordinate with the appropriate regulatory agency prior to the involuntary dissolution of companies under their special regulatory jurisdiction. Now, sir, once ba nangyari to, sir, na si Commission nag-decree to dissolve the corporation, such as in this case, final na ba yun? Hindi. Pwede pa yan sila, pwede pa yan i-appeal sa korte. Na, etong si Commission, nag-ano to ng excess or lack of jurisdiction. Diba? Parang ganun. Pupunta yan sila sa korte. Amounting to So, pwede yan i-reklamo nila sa korte. But for the purposes of this, involuntary dissolution, si Commission yan. So, provides the grounds which a corporation may be dissolved by the Commission. So, Section 139. Corporate liquidation. So, ano itong sinasabi dito kay Section 39? Now, first, except for banks, which is covered ng RA 7653, the New Central Bank Act, and sa mga covered under RA 3591, also known as the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation Charter. Ito, PDIC, kasama yan ito, New Central Bank Act, pati itong PDIC, kasama yan sa board exam. So, JP officers, sana if may kayo, seminar, isama nyo itong topics na to. Kasama ito sa board exam. Makakapal na makakapal na reviewers to na na-receive namin sa review center. Maraming questions doon. New Central Bank Act, pati PDIC. Now, as amended, every corporation charter expires pursuant to its articles of incorporation, is annulled by forfeiture, or whose corporate existence is terminated in any other manner, yung mga na-discuss natin, shall nevertheless remain as a body corporate for 3 years. Kung saan, after the effective date of its dissolution, for the purpose of prosecuting, so for the 3 years after na officially ma-dissolve yung corporation, meron pa siyang 3 years. Para saan? For the purpose of prosecuting and defending suits by or against it and enabling it to settle and close its affairs, dispose of and convey its property, and distribute its asset, but not for the purpose of continuing the business for which it was established. So after dissolution, may 3 years ka to dissolve, to liquidate, to settle, to wind up the affairs of the corporation. Now, at any time during the said 3 years, the corporation is authorized and empowered to convey all of its property to trustees for the benefit of stockholders, members, or creditors and other persons in interest. So, ibig sabihin, dito, after the dissolution, for the 3 years of liquidation, ibibigay nila sa trustee yung responsibility para isettle yung affairs ng corporation. Such is for the benefit of the stockholders, members, creditors, and other persons in interest. Now, after such conveyance by the corporation of its property in trust for the benefit of its stockholders, members, creditors, and others in interest, all interest which the corporation had in the property terminates. The legal interest vests in the trustees. Basically, yung properties dito, basically yung trustees na yung may ownership. Pero ang pag-manage niya dyan sa properties na yan is for the benefit of this person. Yeah? Ganun yung parang trust agreement yan. And the beneficial interest in the stockholders, members, creditors, or other persons in interest. Now, except as otherwise provided for in Section 93 and 94 of this Code, upon the winding up of the corporate affairs, any assets distributable to any creditor or stockholders or members who is unknown, ito nasabi natin to, pag hindi kilala kung sino yung may-ari ng stocks or sino yung member na yon o yung creditor na yon, hindi alam kung kanino may utang yung corporation, it is unknown or cannot be found, hindi sila mahanap, then yung interest na yon, yung yung interest na yun, will be escheated in favor, mapupunta sa national government. Now dati, nakalagay dito is municipal government or city kung saan situated yung office ng corporation. Pero ngayon, ito yung naging revision in favor na of the national government. Now, except by decrease of capital stock and as to otherwise allowed by this code, no corporation shall distribute any of its asset or property except upon lawful dissolution and after payment of all of its debts and liabilities. Now, silent point, who remember na siya, cannot be found. Dati kasi municipality or city in which the asset is located. Hindi pala where the corporation is located but where the asset is incorporated. Now, meaning of liquidation. Itong liquidation, ilang beses natin ilang beses nyo na itong napagdaanan, di ba? Sa accounting for partnership and corporation nyo pa lang. Dito naman sa law on partnership and corporation, ilang beses ito mapapagdaanan. So, liquidation, as applied to a corporation, means the winding up of the affairs of the corporation by reducing its assets in money. Ibig sabihin, ililiquidate nila for cash to distribute. Settling with creditors and debtors, and kung may matira man, matitira, and apportioning the amount of profit and loss. So, it consists of all adjusting all debts and claims, that is, for collecting all that is due, the dissolved corporation, the settlement and adjustment of claims against it, and the payment of its debt. So, basically, settlement of its affairs. Now, anong nature ng isang liquidation? Ito, pag-usapan na natin yan. Partnership pa lang. It is a distribution of all of the assets na is a winding up of the affairs of the corporation, synonymous sa liquidation. Since the stockholders kasi are the corporation, hindi sa co-owners or tenants in the common of the corporate property, di ba? Sa partnership, co-owners sila ng may co-ownership sa property ng partnership. Dito hindi. The liquidation of its assets by the stockholders is not and cannot be considered a partition of community property, but rather a transfer or conveyance of the title of its assets to the individual stockholders. Now, these are the methods. May tatlo tayong methods for corporate liquidation. Sa dissolution, di ba, may dalawa tayong methods, si voluntary at involuntary. Pagdating sa corporate liquidation, may tatlo tayo. Una, liquidation by the corporation itself. Pangalawa, liquidation by a duly appointed receiver. And pangatlo, liquidation by a trustee to whom the corporation had conveyed its corporate assets, that is for the benefit of the creditors, stockholders, and other person in interest, di ba? Yung sabi natin kanina. Ito, liquidation by the corporation itself out of its own accord. At tawag dyan, motu proprio. The normal method or procedure is for the corporation through its director or trustees and executive officers to have charge of the winding up of the corporation. So, sila lang nag-decide mag-dissolve, and sila na rin ang mag-settle ng affairs nito. Ng remaining affairs ng corporation. Now, period of 3 years, as the law dictate in section 139, grants the corporation a period of 3 years after the time when it would have been so dissolved, within which, sa 3 years na yan, it will wind up the affairs, the claims by and against it not presented and settled within the period become unenforceable as there exists no longer a corporate entity against which they cannot be enforced. Now, it is to be noted that there is nothing on section 139 which bars an action for the recovery of its debt of the corporations against the liquidator thereof after the lapse and winding up of 3 years. So, pwede pa rin i-continue after 3 years. Ito naman, liquidation by a receiver. It was authorized under section 135. Balikan natin, recap. Oy. Section 135, saan yun? Oy, lumampas tayo. Ito, it shall render judgment dissolving the corporation and directing such disposition of its assets as justice requires and may appoint a receiver to collect such assets and pay the debts of the corporation. So, so pwede. Yan yung nagbibigay ng authority for a receiver. The appointment of a receiver. Section 135. So, sana yun? Ayun. So, yun. The liquidation by receivership. Ito, receivership, madidiscuss yun rin to sa sa review days nyo sa Manila. Kung yan, kasama yan, receivership, administrator. Paano talaga, no? Sa college, no? Ang part lang dyan ng board exam is, discussion lang is oblicon, law on sales. Ito, law on partner score, din yung cooperatives, yung iba sa marami pa kayo madidiscuss pagdating sa RFBT for the board exam. Hindi sa tinatakot ko kayo, pero ganoon ang reality. Wala tayong magagawa. Yun ang gusto nila. Gusto nila maging jack of all trades sa mga CPA. So, liquidation by receivership, as we have said, is authorized by Section 135. By virtue of which, upon the dissolution of the corporation, the Securities Exchange Commission may, nakalagay doon ang word na may, appoint a receiver. Ibig sabihin, pag wala silang tiwala sa executive officers ng corporation, di receivership, yung receiver na, mag-appoint sila ng receiver, para yung receiver na yung maging bahala. Sana yung may responsibility over the settlement of the corporate affairs to collect its asset and pay the debts of the corporation. Now, hindi lang SEC ang pwedeng mag-appoint ng receivership, especially kapag yung dissolution ng corporation is upon the final judgments of the court. The court can also empowered to appoint a receiver. So, the receivership, unless otherwise specifically limited in its duration, shall exist indefinitely until the affairs of the dissolved corporation shall have been completely settled and liquidated. Now, during its continuance, claims to be presented and allowed if they are not barred by the statute of limitations. Statute of limitations, basically, for example, discussion rin ito sa obligation and contraction yung statute of limitations, like prescription after 4 years, hindi na yung pwede, parang ganun. Kung meron rin yung 10 years, yun, statute of limitations. Like, basically, may certain event, gusto mong reklamo, pero natagalan ka sa pagreklamo, lumampas ka ng ilang years as provided by the law, then, hindi ka na pwedeng magreklamo. Parang ganun yung statute of limitations. Recap lang, sa obliko nyo to. In other words, the period of 3 years may prescribed under Section 139 is not applicable. The receivership of or trustee may act beyond the period. Ito, the appointment of a receivership is discretionary with the court and the SEC is not made except upon proper showing that such appointment is necessary. Like, gaya na sabi natin, walang tiwala si SEC sa executive officers. Bakas yung executive officers, may bad faith sila, negligent, sige, receivership na bahala mag-dissolve bahala sa affairs sa settlement of affairs ng corporation. Now, even without dissolution, the court has the authority to appoint a receiver for a corporation in order to protect and preserve its properties for the use and benefits of its creditors and others who may have similar interests in the property, as where there is already a final executive judgments against the corporation which is in a precarious financial condition. So, pwede rin yan. Precarious financial conditions. Para na problema yung corporation. Paano niya? Basta marami itong receivership. Madidiscuss ito sa special laws nyo. Pero precarious financial conditions like approaching na insolvency yung corporation. So, nag-file to ng bankruptcy. So, yan. May receivership. Receivership bahala mag-refinance or mag-reconstruct ng corporation. Marami yan ganyan. Now, where corporate directors are guilty of breach of trust, minority stockholders may for a receivership. So, ito, let's talk about liquidation by a trustee. Now, we have discussed naman, di ba? Sa Section 139 provides for the liquidation of a trustee. Now, the liquidation of the corporation may be placed in the hands of a trustee or assignee to whom all the corporate assets are conveyed. But take note, these corporate assets that was basically transferred to the trustees is for the benefits of the creditors, stockholders, and other persons in interest. Now, by the term of Section 139, the effect of the conveyance is to make the trustee the legal owner of the property, but such ownership is only for the beneficial interests therein of the creditors, stockholders, members, and other persons' interests. Now, the trustee may sue and be sued as such in all matters connected with the liquidation. Sir, may tanong lang kami, yung mga receivers, yung mga trustees, libre yan nila ginagawa? Hindi. Diyan sila libre gagawa. Di yan libre ang services nila. May pinag-usapan niyang negotiation, magkano yung ma-receive ni agreement, magkano yung ma-receive ni receivership. Usually, kinukuha yan sa assets ng corporation yung pambayad sa kanya. Same dito kay trustee. Now, the same rules governing duration and the time for filing of claim where the liquidation is done by receiver apply to liquidation effected by a trustee. Now, to distribution of corporate assets. Now, remember sa partnership natin, iba na mention rin natin, paano dinidistribute during liquidation? Ano yung priority? Diba? Sa distribution ng assets. Now, the general rule, except by decrease of its capital stock as provided in Section 38 and as otherwise allowed by the Corporation Code, no corporation shall distribute any of its assets or property except upon lawful dissolution and after payment of all of its debts and liabilities. Kasi 'di ba? Return of capital without dissolution basically bawal yan sa batas. O return of capital. Bakit? Because of the trust fund doctrine. Ito, na-discuss natin sa trust fund doctrine under Section 40. Now, trust fund doctrine considers the subscribed capital as a trust fund or equity in trust for the payment of the debts of the corporation, to which the creditor looks for satisfaction. So, until the liquidation of the corporation, no part of the subscribed capital may be returned or released to the stockholder except for the redemption of redeemable preference share without violating this principle. So, di ba? Pag wala kang unrestricted return earnings, hindi mo pwede galawin yung subscribed capital ng corporation. Except sa redemption of redeemable preference share, but take note, redeemable preference share, hindi yung nature niyan, hindi equity, di ba? But a liability. So yan, exception yan siya. So yan bawal ang return of capital because of the trust fund doctrine. Ito, priority of application sa assets ng corporation. Now, dito pagdating sa part na to, so paano yung ginagawa? Sa pagdating nyo sa accounting for special transactions nyo, next year, first sem, pag third year na kayo, pag umabot kayo, sabi ko sa advanced accounting part 1, yung accounting for special transactions, nandoon yun yung topic ng corporate liquidation. Now, sa topic na yun, you will discuss paano yung accounting pagdating sa distribution ng corporate assets sa pan-liquidation. Doon yung topic na yun. Doon nakikita yung accounting niya. Yung mga pre-assets or yung mga assets that is reserved for certain liabilities na. So, kung may marireceive paano yung distribution, yung accounting niya. So, third year nyo pa yun. So, priority of applications of assets. Now, di ba, napag-usapan rin natin sa partnership liquidation, di ba? Paano yung priority ng distribution ng assets ng partnership? Sino yung mauuna? Now, the question of the right of a claimant against the assets of a corporation that is being dissolved and liquidated to priority in the payment of his claims becomes of importance. Nagiging importanteng discussion lang yan. When the assets of the corporation are not sufficient, to pay all the claims. So, yun ang problema. Paano yung application of the asset? Yan din yung paano? Di corporate liquidation yung sa pag-usapan nyo sa advanced accounting part 1, accounting for special transactions. Doon makikita nyo, lalo na pag hindi enough, lumalabas doon yung accounting. Sino yung may priority? Ganon. Now, it is evident that the corporate assets are sufficient to pay all the claims. It cannot matter practically which claim is paid first or is entitled to preferential payment. So, ganun. Now, when the corporation is insolvent, meaning the assets are not enough to satisfy all the liabilities, the creditors of the corporation are entitled to have all its assets distributed first among them according to their respective rights and priority. Ito, isa rin to sa mga didiscuss nyo. Pagdating sa insolvency special law, paano yung distribution? Kasi may mga pag-usapan yan, sino yung mga creditors na may priority, mga first priority, second priority, pag-usapan yan, negotiations yan. This is in accordance with the trust fund doctrine. Now, stockholders, members, directors, or officers of the corporation who are also its creditors as a result of a legitimate or proper loan or claim must be paid next. Ito, lalo na itong mga officers, yung mga employees ng corporation, may priority yan sila for salaries and wages na inabayaran, parang ganun. Now, the remaining assets are then to be distributed among the stockholders or members kapag may natira pa in proportion to their shareholdings or interests in the absence of any provision to the contrary. Now, of course, Holders of preferred stock as to assets have a preference over the common stockholders. Kaya nga, di ba? Isa yun sa mga pag yung preferred stock mo may priority over liquidation, goods ka. In the distribution of the surplus proceeds of the assets of this corporation. Now, upon winding off of the corporate affairs, any asset distributable to any creditor or stockholder or member who is unknown or cannot be found shall be, gaya na sabi natin, hindi ko pa to na-edit. National government National. Yan naman edit ko lang sa final. National, basta national gov to. Bakit to? Basta national government yan. Edit na lang natin sa final PPT. So, tanggalin to. Then where asset is located. So, yun. That's our discussion for the dissolution and the dissolution part of the corporation. Basically, yan yung last step sa buhay ng isang corporation, tapos magli-liquidate na ng kanyang corporate affairs. Now, for our next lecture video, basically the last lecture video for this corporation code, we will talk about the foreign corporations. So, and some miscellaneous topics. Then, yun yung second to the last lecture video. The very last lecture video natin will be on this weekend, kung saan pero hindi yung kasama sa hindi yung kasama sa long quiz natin this Friday, but rather kasama yun sa final exam, yung tawag dito, yung sa cooperatives, basically simple discussion lang, short discussion lang. And so tapusin niyo na yung tawag dito, yung requirement natin to make a corporation para ma-release natin agad ang grades niyo. So with that, good night, bye-bye, love you.